Hey guys, Abe here with an Unchained deck profile. Alright guys, so now that we got some good reprints from the Megatins, I was able to get, I don't know if you guys saw on IG, but I did post a live case opening of the Megatins, the 2020 tin of Lost Memories, and I was actually able to get a playset of Pot of Extravagance. And obviously with Pot of Extravagance now being a lot cheaper, more accessible, it does open the realm up for a lot of deck possibilities. And one of the ones that I instantly thought of was Unchained, because you don't really need the extra deck too much. And yeah, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. It is, and now with some of the cards being reprinted as well, it's more budget friendly compared to when it first came out. So it's obviously a good rogue deck if you want to try it out. But if we're gonna start off with 3 Abominable Unchained Soul. This is really the monster you want to summon the most out with, like when you pop your own traps and stuff with the little guys. But yeah, he's a 3,000 beater. You can only special summon once per turn, which kind of sucks, but you know, you gotta restrict it. But when he is summoned, when he's special summoned, you can discard a card and destroy a card in the field, and it's non-targeting. So that way you can, you know, dodge around targeting effects and things like that. But he's really going to be your main beater, and also if he does get destroyed by card effects during the end phase, you can summon him, as long as you can special summon that same turn. Alright, and then for the other level 8 that we play, I just play 1 Unchained Soul of Disaster. Like I said, with this card, you don't summon it too much. This one is more like I said, the beater, and then this one's the one that lets you start to kind of link climb using your opponent's monsters. Usually you use this and one of your opponent's monsters, and then you can summon the Soul of Rage. But what kind of sucks about the Unchained cards is that you kind of have to wait a turn each turn every time you do it. But if there is that one monster that you do have to get rid of against your opponent, this card will help can help get rid of that if need be. So that's why we only run 1. Yeah, because you don't want to see it in your opening hand at all. You want to summon it straight from the deck. So that's why you just play 1. Alright, now now let's get to the smaller guys. So we gotta play triple Unchained Twin Sarama. I don't know how they're twins. There's like 3 sets of them, but they're twins apparently. But yeah, she's probably the best one because you can target an Unchained card in your graveyard, set it, and then you destroy a card in the field. So you could always, whatever you have in the grave, you can just bring it back and then destroy it. And usually you want to use like one of your traps, and then you just summon something for free from the deck using the trap effect. Or if not, you could always, you know, pop all the other little guys that we play as well, the Rikei and the Ruha, to summon out others from the deck, if need be. But usually you want to use the first effect to destroy your traps, or even the spells like the Abomination's Prison to summon out either the Unchained Soul Disaster or the Abominable Unchained Soul from the deck. Because the Link monsters, you do need an Unchained Soul monster, not an Unchained monster. So that's why you gotta have the Unchained Soul monsters out on the field to be able to link. For the next guy, so these kind of go in tandem together. I mean, I guess compared to the Sarama. So you play 3 Rikei and 3 Aruha. Rikei's quick effect is you can destroy a card you control, but you can summon fiends. The good thing about Sarama is that even with her effect, it doesn't lock you into fiends. Rikei and Aruha do, so you gotta be careful sometimes, especially if you do, let's say if you don't banish, like, you know, good stuff with the Pot of Extravagance. Let's say you want some access code talker or something. You want to be careful with that. So if you do end up using one of their effects to pop, you are restricted to fiends only. And then Aruha, you can special summon Aruha from your hand if you destroy a card you control. So Rikei just pops a card, and Aruha pops a card to summon itself. And then the good thing about Rikei, Aruha, and the Sarama is that they can summon each other from the deck. So they float really easily. You can also summon the level 8 guys. But usually sometimes you just kind of like want to cycle through them if need be. So yeah, that way you just always have presence on the field. And with this Unchained deck, obviously we're going second. Well, I tried to tailor it to a second version. So we're going to play a lot of somewhat, or not a lot, but I mean like a good amount of like hand traps. So obviously you're playing 3 Ash. because it can almost stop anything. And 3 Phantasmic. Just as sometimes if you do get those kind of cloggy hands where you do have too many monsters, or maybe you drew like 2 of the level 8s, things like that. Let's say your opponent is link summoning pretty hard, or whatever the case may be, you can Phantasmate and kind of shuffle your hand back a little bit. And also it can also like protect your cards as well, if you need to, if you don't want to get rid of them, if you don't want your opponent to get rid of them. So that's it for the hand traps. Now onto the spells. We actually don't play that many spells. We actually play a lot of traps. I made this more a little trap heavy just because there's certain cards I wanted to play. Obviously, like I said, we played triple Pot of Extravagance because the extra deck we played 3 ofs. Usually you just use the Soul of Rage or the Soul of Anguish you want to summon just to get rid of your opponent's monsters. So that's why we played 3 of those. And then obviously with the Pot of Extravagance, it's kind of like whatever with your extra deck because you don't need it as much, especially if you can just get the Abominable Unchained Soul like recurring, or if you can just stay on the field, that's going to be your main beater. So Pot of Extravagance, basically just a draw 2. And then for the next spell, obviously we're going to play triple Abomination's Prison because you can add whatever Unchained card you want from the deck to the hand. And even if you do, let's say you can add this, add a Sarama, and then once it's set, you can use Sarama to put it back, and then you could destroy it, and you get a free monster from the deck. So that's good. At least that doesn't have like a hard once per turn effect like the BAs do. And then for the next stuff, like I said, we are going second, so I'm playing double Dark Allure no more in case your opponent does have those like Omni negate monsters on the field. So just to turn them off, obviously you can't hit them for damage, but if you can start picking off their stuff, Dark Allure is a really good card. And I was playing the Wailing of the Unchained Souls, which is like the other spell that you play for the Unchained Souls, but I decided to take that out and put in a Pot of Avarice, because there are those times where you do cycle through all your baby Unchained monsters and you kind of don't have any more in the deck, so you can't really keep going. So I decided to take that card out, the Wailing, and put in a Pot of Avarice, just so you could put the baby back, or like let's say if you did exhaust all your Abominable Unchained Souls, you can put like one of them back, and that way you can at least still have some kind of recursion going on, or at least put up a defense or something like that. So that's why I put Pot of Avarice back in the deck, or we put in the deck to get back your monsters. And now onto the traps. We played triple Escape of the Unchained and triple Abominable. Escape, it lets you target an Unchained monster you control and a card your opponent controls, destroy them. And then the Abominable is basically like a Call of the Haunted for your Unchained monsters. You can summon one back from the graveyard. But they both have the effect that if they're destroyed, it has to be set. But if this set card is destroyed, you get to summon an Unchained monster from the deck. So usually you would just set it, destroy it with your baby Unchained monsters, and you can go from there. But Abominable could come in handy, especially late game, because if you do start cycling through all your Unchained monsters, you're not gonna have too many in the deck. So you gotta start bringing them back from the grave. And then for the next card, I don't see a lot of people playing the Crackdown. Obviously, because if you're gonna go second, you kind of want more spells and things like that. So maybe you can play Mind Control, but obviously that's only at 1. But I decided to play Crackdown just because if, let's say, I can't get the Unchained Soul of Disaster out, or I can't link with my opponent's monster using my Unchained monster effects, Crackdown's there just to be able to get rid of one of their monsters, and then I could either, if let's say I can't use Unchained Soul of Rage, or like I can't use their effects to summon a Dark Link monster, I can summon whatever else I want from the extra deck. Because the Unchained Soul monsters do restrict you to only summoning Dark Links. So if, let's say, in the extra deck there's a bunch of Dark Links, but let's say if you don't, you can summon like Phoenix. That's the only non-Dark Link I have, but like let's say if you have to summon Phoenix or something like that, like especially because of the recipe of the Link monsters, you still have to properly summon them. So that's why I play Crackdown, just in case you need to just get there. And then obviously we're going to play triple Impermanence because it's a really good going second card, because obviously you have nothing on the field and it just negates your opponent's monsters. And now onto the extra deck. So probably the most important cards are going to be the Link 2s and the Link 3s, the Unchained Soul ones. So we play triple Unchained Soul of Rage, and this card you could Link summon during your opponent's turn only, and you have to summon a Dark Link monster. And if it gets destroyed, you get to add an Unchained or target a Fiend monster in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. So in case it gets destroyed. But usually you want to use its main effect to Link summon during your opponent's turn to get rid of one of their monsters. And then for the second Link we play is triple Unchained Soul of Anguish. He also has the effect that you can Link summon during, or you can use your opponent's monster and Link summon, but it has to be during your turn. So that's what kind of sucks about the Unchained, is that you have to kind of wait. But if you can, like, you know, do it at the right time, obviously it's gonna help out. So, but yeah, but he's also a really good card. Also, he has the same effect. If he gets destroyed, you get to add a Fiend monster back to your hand. The Unchained Abomination, I just play one of, just because if you do Link climb using the Unchained cards, effects, and stuff like that, using your opponent's monsters, you do sit on this, but sometimes there are those times where your opponent just somehow gets rid of it, and at that point you're just like, oh man, I just used all those resources, summon this guy, and yeah, so that's why you just play the one of, because you don't really need to go into him, but if you're at that point you are, he can be a good card to summon. Also, he just starts popping cards. Now for the rest of the extra deck, it doesn't really matter what you play, honestly, because, you know, obviously we're playing Pot of Extravagance, so these are just cards you can play. So Witch's Apprentice, I just play one of, just because everything is dark in the deck, and sometimes if you do have to like Link climb down using the Unchained Soul monsters, you can use this, especially if they have, like, you know, Dark Dragoon, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, or just an annoying like a Borlor Savage Dragon. If you already, you know, use their negate, you can at least, if you need to Link down, you can Link down with the Witch. And then just because they're generic, one Phoenix, and obviously the Unicorn, if you use the Soul of Rage or one of their monsters, Unicorn's good because it is a Dark Link monster, so that's why obviously you play it. If you don't want to play the Phoenix, you can always play the second one, just because, you know, if you can't be destroyed by battle by card effects, Unicorn's good to get rid of it. And then these are just cards you could, like I say, you could switch them out. I played Triple Burst just because, like I said, it's a dark and it just requires 2 monsters. One Taotoi Dragon. This one is kind of more like if you do use Crackdown, you take one of their Xyzs or Syncos or something like that. It gains effects depending what Link monster you use. So that's why we play the Taotoi Dragon. And also I play one Berserker Tengi just because you just need 2 monsters and it's a dark, and he's a 3000 beater, so that's why I like playing him. And obviously, probably you've seen this in a lot of Unchained deck profiles. We play Access Code Talker. He can be really good. I mean, it does, like I said, everything is dark, so obviously you can only use it once. But he can become a 5300 beater if you use like Link 3, like the Unchained Soul of Anguish. And if you can just get one pop off with him, and if you can go for game, you summon him. So that's why he's in the deck. Also, just because he's really easy to summon and he's a dark. And then for the last one, there are those times where you do have, you know, like the Unchained Soul of Disaster and the Abominable out. So obviously there's like a Link rank 8 you can go into. I decided to go with Harbinger only just because he's like he negates a spell. Obviously, if you like, you can summon Gear. You can use Ningirsu or whatever rank 8 you can think of. But I decided to go with Harbinger just because he can negate a spell. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile, you guys. Let us know down in the comments what you think about the Unchained deck profile. I know there's a lot of different versions out there, but this is more of a pure going second version. And yeah, if you ever decide to, you know, build Unchained deck, make sure you check out our TCG player link in the description down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what next deck profiles, dual videos, whatever test hand videos you want us to do. Make sure you put it down in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications. That way you know when any new video of ours comes out. And this is Abraham signing out.